everybody, this is Perch. About a couple, I don't know when this video will get posted, but a day or two ago, I posted a rant thread. Now, just to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit on that, it wasn't a out of control rant thread. I knew what I was posting, and it was fun to do. It was just, put some stuff out there. It surprised people. People are like, "Oh my God, are you okay? What's going on? What precipitated this?" And it showed me that I think the relationship, or like how I describe things in this video, or these videos, this channel, whatever it happens to be, I think that there's still this feeling like it's an act, or I'm putting on some kind of show, and then now here's his true feelings. But in reality, it's about the same. As no frills as it sounds, what you see is what you get. I have these feelings in comics. I think some people take my tone, my video, my ideas, my advice as, very carefully reasoned, being cautious with it. Not really. This is just, you're getting kind of free thoughts. I don't know how to make it any clearer. I'm recording this stuff from the car as I'm driving down the road. There is no script. There is no trying to be sensitive to certain people. Have I offended friends of mine, both in and out of comics? Yes. Yes, I have. Thankfully, I haven't offended many friends, because people who are my friends, don't have issue with me saying what's on my mind. Thankfully, thank goodness. Why invest time in being friends with somebody who's going to pick that apart every time? I mean, what a zoo. But it was fun to kind of go through, in the sense of, here's some advice. But now I'm rethinking everything. Like when I talk about, hey, comic retailers, you should do these kinds of things. You should align your products this way. It will help you sell. Hey, you should think about marketing this way. Hey, comic publishers, here's a way that you can actually make some more coin for the book you're putting out. These kinds of comments. Now I'm wondering if people are seeing these as some kind of strange passive aggressive dunk on the industry, because it's not that. I think it fits into the difference between what you hope for versus what is. What I hope for is a healthy, robust, strong comic industry, and comic retailers, and good products that customers like and readers enjoy, and finding new ways to open up new markets and get new people into it. That's what I hope for. That's the way it ought to be. Oughta is a good word. Ought to be. The way it often is something vastly different. I don't need people coming into the comments to let me know that. Obviously, I know that. Like, I am not happy with the current state of the X-Men titles. I don't enjoy them. Some people do. Cool. No disrespect if you enjoy them. Seriously. I mean, good for you. I hope you do. But I don't particularly enjoy them. So I will give advice on what I think would make a stronger, better selling product. But sometimes the advice I give would create a product that doesn't fit me either. Like, for example, I would love a Legion of Superheroes title that was deep into the mythology and the lore and the backstory and Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff, all the history. I want it all there. I think this is one key reason why I am enjoying Jeff Thorne's Green Lantern. I enjoy it because he's pulling stuff in from decades ago. That, as it turns out, is, a good way to appeal to me. However, for several people, that's not going to work. I think the reveal of John Stewart and kind of the powers he has and everything that goes on there was wildly cool. I realize that probably 10% or less of the people who are reading the book know any of that history, or probably care about that history. I appreciate Jeff putting that in there, but at the same time, the people are like, I just thought I was getting a no frills kind of, Jeff Johns Green Lantern style book, and this is something else. I'm not happy about it. I get it. I totally understand. I'm not crazy. I understand why that's different. I also completely hear you when you say things like, what was marketed to me as this book is not the book I got. I agree. I suspect Jeff would probably agree with that. For that matter, I'm not speaking for him, but I totally understand. I do think that the overall pitch and marketing, in the nicest way, left a lot to be desired. I think that cut two ways. I think it pulled in fans, readers, who thought they were getting one thing, then were upset because they didn't. And I think on the other hand, I think there's some people who probably would enjoy this book that aren't reading it because it wasn't marketed, to them. I think that's a problem. But regardless, I would love a deep in mythology Legion of Superheroes book. However, if I was president of DC, if I was editor in chief, if I was planning all this, I would not make that book. I wouldn't make it because I think it would be a really tough sell. And my goal as head of DC is to sell comics, is to get volumes up, is to, bring up numbers. That is the goal. The goal is not give Perch what he wants. That is not the goal. Frankly, I think too many people are in comics and are operating off of that goal. It is not the customer comes first, although that is an end result. It is create a product that has as much mass market appeal as possible in order to cast the widest possible financial net to make money. That is the goal. That's what sales is. That's the plan. And I think that, as I've talked about before, I think comic publishers often find many, many ways to talk themselves out of it. It kind of goes back, and I will beat this dead horse because every time I don't know, there's a lot of dummies out there, but the Warren Ellis situation, I'll just talk about this very briefly. I know some people are already groaning and rolling their eyes. Please just bear with me 30 seconds. The goofy part of the argument is not, did he do something wrong morally, which I've said. I think you could make a solid case to say, hey, he's a contractor. Hey, he's out there flirting with women. Hey, he's, doing whatever he can to get his game on. Fine. I think you could make a definite case to say, there's nothing wrong with that. That's playing. That's not a thing. That sounded like the most dad comment ever. Anyway, don't hate the player, hate the game. That didn't help. Anyway, you get the idea. But when you say, if you are working in a company or an industry where that is fraught with peril and is going to cost your job, then yeah, he did something wrong for his career. That was a mistake. And I say it this way. If you are working in a company, go ask your HR. Say, hey, if I'm a contractor, can I sleep around with other people in the company or basically, what do you think about that? We all go on a work function or a conference. How will that work? They will tell you, don't do it. You'll get fired. Now, you could say that's not fair. That's not your purview. It's after work hours. This is a contract. You could try and make that case. You might even be successful. But why would you? Is that the best way to make that? That's crazy. What you should do is, if that really bothers you, if that's not the kind of thing, if the company's policies don't align with what you like or believe, go find a new job. Should Warren Ellis have been run out of the industry? I don't think so. No, I don't think so at all. I think this process of he's got to make amends to all the people and then we'll let him back in kind of stuff, I think that's absurd. And if I'm him, I would be thinking, why am I struggling to work in this industry? That's what I would be thinking. However, people who stand up there and go, he did nothing wrong. What's the big deal? You're missing the point. It doesn't work in this industry. So put your ire where it belongs. Go change the industry. Complain about how the rules are set, everything else, but don't pretend the rules don't exist. I wish the comic industry would embrace a lore deep Legion of Superheroes. Absolutely, I wish that. I wish Marvel would get off their ass and go ahead and write Todd McFarlane a 7-figure check and get him to an issue of Spider-Man as an anniversary issue. That's what I would appreciate. I would like that. I think that would be good. Marvel can do the money, or they have the money. They can do this. I think that would be cool. I'd like to see Chris Claremont an ongoing title. I'd like to see, when Alex Ross is going off to do Fantastic Four, my question mark, and given sight unseen, his Fantastic Four may suck, but I think it's a strong odds it will be great. I'd like to see him on Fantastic Four. I think the current direction of Fantastic Four is a dreadful bore. I mean, it is a boring, awful book. Like that is incomprehensible. This is coming from a guy who loves the Fantastic Four, who enjoyed many pieces of Kirby's run, or Burns' run, or Simonson's run, or there's a lot of good Hickman's run. There's a lot of good Fantastic Four out there. I hate this version. Now, fortunately, when I could say if I complain about this current iteration of Fantastic Four, it's not selling that well either. So in this sense, I got to put on my like proud hat, and the proud that's trigger words right there. I get to say, hey, good news. I think I align with the market. I don't like it. Seemingly, the market doesn't particularly like it. Therefore, I at least my opinion hopefully aligns with what would sell better. Cool. But in general, I think that you have to attack all this stuff. Whether you're a retailer, a publisher, a customer, anything else, what you have to do is, first of all, and I've said this before, get really certain in your mind what you want, what you like, what's your preference. Make sure you understand that. You may think that's ridiculous, but there's a lot of people out there who are wandering around who do not really even know what they like. And that's a problem. You should have a very clear picture in your mind of what it is you like. Why? Because it makes it much easier for you to make good buying decisions. It makes it much easier for you to, not feel like you're wasting your money. It's positive. It's a positive thing for you. Okay. Once you've figured out what you like, then you have to do, and this is the hardest thing, recognize that what you like may or may not, in any given day, in any given topic, reflect the majority, and understand how to spot those differences. Because if you want to be successful, either as a retailer selling comics, and again, I'll give you an example. There was that retailer, I mentioned them before, they were up in Mill Creek, up in Washington, and they made every choice possible to make their audience as niche as they could. They had LGBTQ night. By the way, there are several stores in the Seattle area that are, LGBTQ owned or friendly, and they're great stores. They do a great job. You feel happy supporting them. But what this store did is they said, we have LGBTQ night, and then they got very gatekeepery aggressive about, it's like, if you are not of that, you do not fit in the LGBTQ umbrella, you don't belong here tonight. Get lost. And they like literally, it was aggressive. There was a friend of mine, a secondhand, but I trust the person, he's not crazy, was in the store looking for comics and was told to, it's 5 o'clock, get out. Now, just think about that for a minute. That is a crazy, dumb decision from a business standpoint. As the business owner, you may be thinking, hey, I want to provide a good place for LGBTQ clientele. I want those people to be able to come in and, feel like they've got a something that caters to them for a change. That may be something that appeals to you. Fine, but your preferences are basically in conflict with the mass market, which is in conflict with your ability to stay open. And this store didn't stay open. They were not able to sustain their business. Several of their ideas, several of their preferences, several of things they wanted to do were in direct conflict with, running a profitable business. And so the business failed. If you're a publisher and you have pet projects or whatever you happen to do, if you run those, you may love them. And there's nothing wrong with you loving those projects. But some way, somehow, you got to figure out how to make money at it. If you can't, you're not going to be doing it for long. It's why I've mentioned in the past, hey, we want to include diversity in more of our books. We want to put more of a focus on these underrepresented characters in comics. Cool. Good idea. Sounds great. Make sure you find a way to make it profitable, or you're not going to be doing that for long. And that drives people absolutely at the wall. But it's a difference between the world I want versus the world there is. And if the world you want is not one that aligns with the rest of with the world, then you can either, swim upstream your entire life until you eventually get tired and drown, or you can make adjustments. It really is that simple. And as I've gotten older, I become very indifferent to what people choose. I can give advice. It's why this channel, man, there's some people who go at me because they don't agree. They can't figure it out. They just, Perch is naive. They just get really pissy about it. If you ever want to get people really, really angry at you, Take a logical middle position. It drives people insane. But, you know, I'll tell you, I don't lie awake at night thinking about this stuff. It doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, you make your own choice. I mean, I'm not your dad. I'm giving you dad advice. I make dad jokes, but I'm not your dad. I'm not. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want, and it doesn't bother me if you do whatever you want and you fail or succeed, frankly. And by the way, just if it helps any, I'm always kind of hoping you succeed because I don't like watching failure. Now you can make your joke about being in the comic industry at this point, but there's nothing enjoyable about watching people just have disasters, unless those disasters are hilarious and on YouTube, like the Aussie man destination fucked. Go look that up. Aussie man destination fucked. They're the funniest things in the world, like people slamming their motorcycles into things, falling off trees. It's hilarious. But outside of those, it's not fun watching people be miserable, watching people fail. And I think that that's one very big misunderstanding that a lot of people have about YouTubers. Not all of them. And there are definitely people who just want to watch the world burn, make no mistake about it. But I'm speaking just for myself. I don't want you to fail. I don't want to be negative for things just to be negative, to laugh at you. It's not fun. Nothing would make me happier than a healthy, stable comic industry where the majority of the comics are not ones I enjoy. That sounds weird, but I'd rather see healthy and comics that aren't for me than comics that aren't for me and just crazy things getting rebooted constantly, titles getting canceled, creators going on GoFundMe to try and make rent. I mean, that's not fun. I grant you, for some of you who have been, laughed at and made fun of by some of those people, it's fun for a little while to watch somebody get their comeuppance, but over time, not really, right? It's the difference between the world you like and the world you want. Again, like the Warren Ellis situation. You may think, hey, nothing was wrong done there. Why are they on him? But clearly, he did things that companies they're going to trigger companies. They are. Is that sucks? But it sucks that gas is expensive. Not as much in Texas. Anyway, thanks for listening. Let me know your thoughts below. And yeah, there you have it.